in accordance with the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Executive Order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, we're conducting this meeting in a hybrid model, both virtually and in person. The Cemetery Committee is conducting this meeting on December 4th at 4 p.m. on the Zoom platform and in person in accordance with the town's policy, directive, and guidelines issued April 1, 2020 and amended May 7, 2022. If you recognize, please state your name and address. The meeting is being recorded. I, Jeffrey Walton, hereby call this meeting to order. All committee and member votes will be taken via roll call. We will start with the attendance roll call of committee members. When I announce your name, please reply. Brian Davidson. Here. Jerry Susi.
Here.
Here.
Bridget Rodriguez. And Jeff Walton. Here. We do not have any deed signings. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. It is a thing. We don't have Aaron, so we're going to get a much more practical update.
Yeah.
Not that Aaron is always practical, but
He is.
So,
He's good.
who do I turn it over to?
Mr. Chair, do you want the next proposal?
Oh, sorry. Next proposed cemetery meeting is January 8th, 2025. Anybody have a problem with that date?
January 8th.
It's the second Wednesday.
Because the first Wednesday is the first. It's New Year's Day.
Oh,
So unfortunately, it
Would you like
wasn't
to come
no,
Oh, there you go.
we're
Yeah.
not. To come in.
in? So the 8th
You did the.
works for everybody?
All right.
Yeah, see, I'm not sure if that, are you guys gonna have a public works on the 8th too?
Probably haven't decided that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So no conflict? Conflict for you?
Maybe, but
That's all right. I'll do the report.
Anybody else on the date? Sounds good. Now I'll turn it over to Tish.
actually just saying.
Okay. So during the month
Mixing it
of,
up.
we are. So during the month of November, we had 1 full burial and 7 cremation interments that took place, and 0 lots were sold. Tends to slow down this time of year. So, because anyone who's going to buy something that is, pre-need, that they get the chance, if they're going to more apt to buy it when it's nice out, get to wander around.
Makes sense.
Tish?
Veterans Day services were held on November 11th. No flags were retired that day because of the burning ban.
Oh,
The fire chief decided that we couldn't burn anything. It was a little breezy and it was very dry. So no flags were burned. The fire department took them all back to the fire department and they're gonna burn them at a later date, maybe in a snowstorm or something. It's finally not gonna catch everything else on fire, but Doug's younger brother, Michael, represented the Navy in the Public Works Department by raising the flag. Yes, yes,
Nice.
he did a good job. He's our mechanic. Our landscape contractor should be wrapping up hopefully this week, doing their cleanup. And
So after the last meeting, Aaron did reach out and speak with town staff regarding the financials and getting more clarity on the fund balance and things like that. Because he couldn't be here for this meeting, we did decide to push it until January. So we will have it as an agenda item on January 8th to
Cool.
be able to discuss that.
And then just informationally, Doug and I just attended for 2 days. We were out in Sturbridge at the New England Cemetery Association's annual meeting. So it was pretty interesting. Learned about choosing cemetery software, which we already did, but obviously there's updates and changes in software things. So anything else that we might want to look for. Talked about perpetual care funds and how important they are to grow and maintain, and the rise in cremation. Did you know in 1876 was the first cremation ever? I guess a legal one, probably.
1876.
1876, yes. And in 1977, the rate of cremation was 5%, but now it's 59%. Yeah, there were 3 million cremations in the first 100 years that people were doing it. Now there's 2 million a year. And all of the speakers resoundingly said, everyone should have a columbarium by now. We're blowing an opportunity for making money by not having. But it was good. It was an interesting couple of days.
And I think that's it. That's all we have. Yes.
Update on the Walker, report on the.
Lot
assessment.
layouts?
The lot layouts, yeah.
Waiting for another meeting. They've come back, I think, with a second design. Not a second design, but an update to the first design. So a second attempt at a design. But we have not yet met with them. I think Steve is working on,
Town engineer is working
town
on.
engineer is working on putting together a meeting.
Okay. Sounds good. And we'll have that on for next meeting, please. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other updates? Snow plowing contract is just us or do
Yeah.
you have any contact?
You're looking at them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're looking
Yeah,
at.
that's what I thought that was. the
Yes.
case, yeah.
Yes.
We're praying for a warm winter.
Always.
Yes. Well, good luck with that.
Thank you.
And I don't know if anybody else had
Little test
more
flight.
leaves than ever before this year, but my yard was just, it was a mess out there. I don't know what it was,
They just fell quick.
but it felt quick.
And they were dry, so they were fluffy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what my husband told me.
And it seems like way more acorns than ever.
Big acorn year. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely an acorn year.
Okay. Film request, Friends of Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah, so this is, hopefully you guys have that handout. So these are for photos that were already taken at the cemetery. But we would like to use them in a private mailing to, people who have donated to friends. And it's like we send out a report that says, this is what we did with your money, basically. So it goes to about 125 people.
I am gonna try to pull up the postcard. It's the postcard, correct?
Yeah.
All right,
Okay.
so let me, and then I have to share. I'm getting it. All right, share. Postcard. There we go. All right, there we go.
So there are a few photographs that were taken the day of the Concord, the dedication for the plaque of the Concord Female Anti-Slavery Society, which was October 20th. That's a public plaque that is not on a private plot. The grave, you see the two people cleaning the gravestone. We took care to not show the name on the gravestone for privacy sake. Just wanted to again show what we did with some of the money that was donated. We cleaned some gravestones. And that the date of that was I have that written down somewhere.
May 14th.
May 14th thing. And then the Hoare lot, that picture was taken also at the dedication. So that you can see probably if you look closely enough that is the Hoare lot. We do have permission from Alex Hoare that he would be fine to have this in this distribution. Again, it's not being published to anything that will go out publicly, but it will be to a private donor list. Then there's also the picture on the donor report, which was taken in the cemetery also. So anyway, so because these pictures are from the cemetery, they need your approval.
Anybody want to make a motion?
Well, I'll make a motion to approve the film request for the Friends of Sleepy Hollow.
I'll second the motion. Any in favor? We should probably go through the list.
So Brian Davidson, aye.
You're keeping track, all right? Okay. Priscilla?
I have to recuse myself.
Okay. Jerry?
Aye.
Bridget, aye.
Aye. Jeff? Aye. Motion passed?
Thank you very
Yep.
much.
Looks nice.
So for clarification, I just want to make sure, Tish, do you happen to know what stone that is? Do we need to call, do we need to?
The location should be, they should be written down on the application.
Yeah, so
Okay,
we need to,
Yeah, I'll put them down now. I know them, the location.
Okay.
exact
You know,
location.
Bird feeder?
yeah,
It's an
It's
Indian
next-
border, yeah.
it's right next to it. See that she's
Yep.
work. So what,
Oh, I
do
know
you know
where it is.
what?
I know where it is.
Oh, you
Yeah.
know. what it is.
I know where it is, yeah.
I don't, but that's okay. No. So I just wasn't sure if like for whatever the application you need,
I'll just make sure it's on there.
I think it's
Okay.
Neely, I think it's Neely lot.
Neely.
Yeah, I honestly, I didn't look it up today, but I'm pretty sure it's Neely.
Okay, all right, perfect.
Because I have a photo. of you.
And I was gonna suggest maybe for a future, because this isn't on the agenda, so a future agenda, when you're late on topics.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if we could review this application so that it's just a little bit more informative about what you need to fill out when you are applying for this, because the purpose of this, I think, with the state statute was originally to keep track of who is on cemetery lands, like who is actually on your land, perhaps filming something you don't want them to film, or like physically doing something to the cemetery. If you look at the actual statute within the Massachusetts general laws, it's that whole section pertains to who is being allowed in cemeteries, like who's trespassing, what the hours are, how you visit a cemetery, that kind of thing. But I also understand that you want to limit what kind of photographs are used in a publication or a mailing list. And that seems like it might need more information than what it's asked for on this. So I just wondered if that it's two separate issues, if it can be all on one permission form, but that has more, asks for the exact information you need. So like when I go to fill it out, I know exactly what I need. And then it's less time back and forth, or, like Justine going from Tish to me, so, so that we know exactly what's needed. Because I think that what the cemetery committee has done in the past, and what Tish and the staff aim to do, is to protect those lands as both public and the privacy of the people who are buried there. And I think that could be reflected with maybe more information that's required, that we're always happy to provide.
I'll make a note, absolutely.
Okay. Next is the master plan general discussion. Justine had a suggestion, Justine and Aaron had a suggestion on this, and I'm gonna modify it just slightly.
Sure.
You wanna,
Oh, no, so basically, because everything wasn't due until the day before Thanksgiving, and everyone was tied up doing everything, there wasn't really a time for Jeff or anybody to compile that before today's meeting. So his suggestion was, so I did send the information to Jeff on Monday, and then we can revisit and discuss it in full in January.
Yeah.
At the January meeting.
Yeah.
January meeting is gonna be busy, people, so pack your lunch, no I'm kidding.
so, which I think is a great idea, it gives me time, and I'll make a couple commitments here, that I'll turn this around, within the next 2 weeks, so we have a little bit more time to, review for the final. But I'd like to also spend time tonight going through all the comments we got, just to make sure I have things clarified and people have a chance to, discuss each piece. And then I'll take the notes from tonight and the notes that we received and incorporate them.
So
Would-
these are, I will include, Jerry, actually, I will stop sharing that, sorry about that. There we go. So these are copies of, Priscilla's notes and, Jerry's notes. And then Tish's notes were on the master plan, so I only printed out one of those. So,
And then,
Jerry, do you want me to try to email you the Priscilla's notes for
Yeah.
reference?
Yeah, if that's easy for you to do, sure, please.
I'll do that
Thanks.
right.
great. All right. Wonderful. So, I don't know what the best way to go through this is. Somebody want to volunteer You want to volunteer to go through your comments first and then we'll go through the next set?
Sure. The majority of mine are really teeny little editing.
Yep.
Um,
And we don't need to go over all those here, more just the,
oh,
Any
so you don't
substance,
want the period.
no. I can figure that out and then Justine can double check.
So maybe then go down to 1.3.3. My question. Let me read that. I pretty forget what I. I don't have the written thing in front of me. So. Let me look at. Yeah, so the current, where it's, under the current status, it doesn't actually say that one has actually been completed. It doesn't say that in there, does it?
Tish got it.
So that was probably one, so,
Yeah.
so those are Tish's edits, probably in red.
Yeah.
So you are correct that it doesn't say it, but Tish put it in there too.
We double caught it,
Okay,
so it will be in there.
all right. Then, oh, wait a minute, sorry. Yeah, I mean, most of it is just really little capitalizations, things like that.
Right.
Section 3, infrastructure, it needs to be updated to say that there are actually signs that have been installed at Old Hill and South Burying Ground. And then I was questioning the appendix there, those 3, D, E, and F aren't in the thing. They need to be added.
Yeah, we're waiting for that's what we were just
Yeah.
talking about before, the report.
And then on the one of the appendix that has the map of the knoll, I didn't know whether the new mausoleum should actually be shown on that map. But is that, now that I'm thinking about it, you don't have headstones
No, we
marked,
don't.
so why would a mausoleum be marked, right? I think of it as a building.
Right,
so
yeah.
That's why I was thinking it should be in there, but I guess it really shouldn't be.
It's like
So-
the Pope mausoleum's not.
Right,
Not
right,
marked or
right,
anything.
right,
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah,
So
right.
that was,
Yeah.
that I was just, that's, forget that one.
Okay,
But all the other ones are really just grammatical. Needing a period and changing there are a couple of typos. I noticed that the page numbers are all off. You'll get all that.
Figure that.
So it was all niggly because I'm niggly.
but somebody has to be. It's important, really. Misplacement, as you see on any Reddit or internet, Instagram
Yeah.
feeds, a misplacement of a period means changes the whole meaning of the sentence.
Yeah. Definitely, mostly, periods, commas, typos, things like that.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. Got those. I think Jerry was next.
Sure. I mean, you've got them there in front of you. I don't know if you want me to go through them or if you have questions or what.
Well, let's skip over any of the grammatical things or any points out. Just let's talk about the changes that you want to make and what your suggestions are.
Yeah, I guess what I would zero in on is in history, there's reference to the markers, the gravestones, and being destroyed in the hurricane. And I just wanted to clarify, and Tish would know, my understanding is they were knocked down and they had to be reset, but the stones that are there now are the original stones. Is that right?
Yeah, I changed it on
It's
mine.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah, they were displaced and reset, but they weren't destroyed.
okay. And then when it gets to the supply, we just need to account, push the dates back. Since we're at the end of 2024, anything that references 2023 and 2024 needs to be updated.
Jerry, to go back a line,
Yeah.
where you indicate the area includes an area reserved for Jewish burials.
Oh, yes. Yeah. So that's a language, English usage thing.
Correct, but it's regulated in accordance with Jewish tradition. It is not reserved for just Jewish burials. Anybody can be buried there.
Okay. Well, I guess I would just look at saying it differently than especially for Jewish burials.
I actually did write something as well.
Perfect.
Jerry, your section 2.1, I agree with this. What you want to review what you were suggesting?
Well, I would guess it's just, after the last meeting and the discussion about finances and so forth and budgeting, and also just kind of following town news over the last year or so. I think it would behoove us to look at what an entirely self-funded budget looks like. I guess there's best case, worst case, and most likely. Best case is, the town revenue funds everything. Worst case is we're all self-funding, and maybe most likely is somewhere in the middle. But I think we should anticipate what self-funding looks like, especially, sell another mausoleum or two, and So I guess that's the only, it's kind of like, hey, let's think about this, as opposed to any kind of like specific suggestions as to what it should contain.
Other comments on your notes?
And I guess I'll just add, with regards to infrastructure, I'm wondering about opportunities for us to partner with other organizations or individuals, thinking specifically about the landscaping problem and about some of those problem areas. What if somehow we were able to work with some people that were actively involved in like a landscaping program at a community college or at a VOTEC, or work with people who are studying, how to protect vulnerable soil areas, from a county extension service or something like that, or University of Mass Amherst. I guess it's more like a general idea of thinking about outreach to really to kind of replicate the kind of relationship we have with an organization like the Friends. Not necessarily duplicating that relationship, but really looking for some partnerships. And, when I went to the event in October for the Concord Women's Anti-Slavery Society, I did get a chance to kind of see up close some of those problematic areas. And, some experts could help. Not necessarily for free. We're not looking like, hey, can you do some work for us for free? But there's an area of expertise that might be out there that we could find.
Great suggestions. Before we go on to Tish's, anybody have any more comments on Jerry's? I'll just make one comment. My cousin is also a cemetery chair. She had to split the cemetery from the church that they're associated with. So splitting church from cemetery is one thing. I don't know about splitting cemetery from state. We have to work with the town.
Sure.
To your point, if they're not funding us, we have to plan for ourselves.
Well, I guess just reading between the lines, things are going to be tough in the coming years. So
Yeah, well, thank you for calling it out. Tish, you want to go through, you made some comments in here. You want to highlight them? I would love you
She's
to.
like, wait a minute. Would you like, you have?
I do, I brought mine.
Okay.
You know, again, you made a couple of grammatical and spacing error
Yeah.
changes. Don't
Yeah.
worry about
Those
that.
are, let's see. Okay. This talks about. Yeah, I changed a couple numbers and just some wording. John Melvin to James.
Oh.
Yeah, it said John. John's actually interred here. James, the younger brother, was another brother who signed the memorial. I don't know that the Old Hill Burying Ground is on the National Register of Historic Places. It's part of the Concord Monument Square Lexington Road Historic District, but it itself, I don't know that it's on there.
Okay.
And I don't know that any of them are listed with the Massachusetts Register of Historic Places. That's a book you can buy. I looked online very quickly, but I didn't want to buy the book.
Why doesn't that get, if we need accuracy, maybe it should just be deleted.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if it's,
Yeah,
Ann Forbes went through the whole process and put Sleepy Hollow, I know is on there. But I don't know that anybody's done that for Old Hill Burying Ground. or
is there
for-
anything on the map,
on
on the cemetery, map that Friends does,
Oh, that says that it was
that
a.
it says anything about it? You know?
Sleepy Hollow is, Ann Forbes did the whole application while I worked there, so Sleepy Hollow is for sure on the
So,
National Register.
this doesn't have,
The other two.
this doesn't have the other two.
Is there a
No,
Marxist
it's not.
report for the Old Hill? Is there like the Marxist, like, I don't know, the Massachusetts website that has all the studies and stuff for all the houses?
They're not on there.
Historical locations.
As far as I know, they're not. I don't know.
I think it should just be removed so that it,
So, I mean, if somebody wants to look into it,
yeah, but
free.
Sure.
Yeah, feel free.
Where was our historian from last time?
I did change a lot of at the knoll to in the new section because the knoll is not a separate cemetery, it is Sleepy Hollow Cemetery. So I changed that a lot because I tried
Good.
really hard.
Yep.
yeah,
Yes, I
that
did.
makes sense.
Basic thoughts. I know that we need to look in West Concord for future land. We actually have a lot of future land that we need to be expanding into. We need to be probably preparing
Mhm.
for future use right now.
And that's what the.
It's attached to
report's
what we
supposed to
have.
do, Right?
Yeah, hopefully,
Help us.
a portion of it, yeah. This said like 4 mausoleum sites, it's only 3. I did change the wording for the Acacia Path. I'm gonna change it there, I'm gonna change it there too. And this talked about like a children's lot, something that you need to determine, but it isn't a necessity anymore. It used to be, it's really not anymore. People buy family lots.
Mhm.
We have a child's lot, we have a lot that we can still use, there's still space in it. Pretty rare, thankfully, that it's used. So don't know that that's something we need to think about. We do have an indigent lot in the new section that we actually use quite a bit. We just had to make that larger. We don't have scattering gardens and they're not popular. So don't know if we still want to think about doing that. People don't like them. Didn't like them here, and actually we heard that yesterday as well. Not a popular option for people. It's usually a shared memorial. People don't love that idea. They like being able to personalize their memorials. And premium lots, don't even know what that would look like. Premium lots might have come from the original plan for the new section.
Mhm.
And there was an area that was supposed to be premium lots, but when we went to lay it out, we found out that we couldn't. Now it's an area that we want to put a wall for a columbarium. Um, so we have done some work about the columbarium. We did this. The goal was to determine an area, and that's done. Deed records, the lot records for these two cemeteries I kept on file with the cemetery building. There are no lot records for the two older burial grounds. There's nothing, there's just maps. So we do have them. This talked about the town clerk's office computerizing their records. That was an effort from 25 years ago that didn't go anywhere. There was a program Kari did before she left and went to Chelmsford and then came back, and it's long gone. They're not doing that, so that should just probably be deleted.
Okay.
And the database should be accessible for appropriate town departments, employees, and the public. Should always. They use it quite a bit. And the signs in Old Hill and,
Yep.
and Main Street are done. Landscaping, the woodland trail beyond Chestnut Hollow has to be cut back. That's actually not us, that's Delia. So I don't know if it should be our goal or if it should be something that we work with natural resources on, but we do nothing up there. Other than something falls, we can cut it out. But as far as trimming anything, it's her crew goes out.
Because
and-
it's
and
wetlands.
maintains.
Huh.
Yeah, so we, that's, it could stay here in some form. I don't know what form, but it isn't us that would. do it.
Why? We
It
don't
would be
have
natural
any
resources.
jurisdiction over it.
Yeah,
Shouldn't be in.
we own it,
Communicate.
but it's,
Yeah.
yeah, we work together, obviously, but it's her crew that does the work out there.
Mm.
I will say it has come up in like past ones, I think, but early on, like in 2017, there was some discussions about trails back there and potential bike path, people building things across and
So maybe
mean,
it should
sometimes
be
it does
left
come
in
up.
there, but with a note. That
To
says,
continue to work with.
This
natural resources
isn't
out
our-
there,
this-
something like that.
please note, this is not our jurisdiction, but
Or to just work.
at
with
least we
natural
know that
resources.
it's,
Yeah.
maybe to have that note in there that it is natural resources, so.
Yeah, it's
that-
3.3.3.
Yeah,
Or 3.3.
I would
sorry.
definitely,
well, I think that's how we ended up, with Tish kind of working with,
yeah,
Bill at the time, I think was kind of maintaining the trail through there and some of the natural resources. So I think there are town interests, obviously, in that area beyond the cemetery, but we just empowered, Tish to kind of work with
Yeah.
them to make sure that, the area was protected. Because I think there is, value to having a say in that area or a voice in that area amongst the other voices. Just because, it's a stuff from Arthur's Ridge.
Mm,
You just don't want people yelling back there while a service is going on or something like that. So I think it's good to maintain our voice in that space. But recognize that there are other town interests
And money.
to work with.
And money.
And money.
Metal structures, we did, the current status talks about this grant that we were gonna get, we did get it. So that should be updated. And the water system. I'm not sure why it says there's no water source at Old Hill. There's also no water source at the Main Street burying ground. I don't know that we care. I don't know that we need one. But it should address both. If it's gonna address one, it should address both, I guess, Old Hill and Main Street.
Okay.
But there is no water, there's no water source at either of the older burial grounds in the center of town. Other than.
And you don't find a need for them.
Not really. No, people aren't watering plants there. If we need to do a project there, there's culture water, we bring it. We get it there. And grade marker inventories are not done for all three cemeteries. They're only done for Old Hill and Main Street. So change that to a 2.
That's right. We had that discussion a couple months ago, I think, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did Old Hill and Main Street. It was
Right.
Sleepy Hollow. Yeah, that's in the library.
Right.
Great. All right. So I'll endeavor, what is today? The fourth?
The fourth.
So I'll try to have this out a couple days before Christmas, right? I'll try to get out the week before, so, because it's gonna be crazy for the holidays, so. And, and we have extra time.
Mhm.
So hopefully by the eighth, we'll be ready to make final edits. And maybe if you have a chance, anything you see, send to Justine for finishing, fixing. So hopefully we can approve or approve with changes, in that meeting. And only be 1 month off of our time.
Sounds good.
Okay. Chair comments, nobody has anything else on that, we don't have any motions or anything, so. Chair comments, my only comment is thank you all for this year participating and happy holidays. And hopefully everybody will be happy and bright-eyed bushy-tailed in January. Another January agenda item suggestion I have, is, I've forgotten how we decided to do this. We're gonna have a list of, when people's terms were up and how many positions we had open to review. And I'm not sure if we put that on the schedule already, but there was a meeting where we were gonna look at that. So, if we can, either next month or the month after. And then we can talk about the committee challenge of, recruiting new members.
Maybe it should be for February. I think we should also talk about the subcommittee we have for the Columbary.
Yeah.
Because both Jerry and our terms are coming towards an end, and we're the two members of that. So while we're here to be able to transition that, on to other folks, and hopefully the other report of that area will be kind of more formalized, so that would be something for the committee to do.
So you want to have the discussion about openings and recruitment in February then? Is that what you're saying?
Well,
Or
your
in
January
January.
one
Yeah, we're gonna be
sounded
packed,
packed.
Well, Jerry and Brian still have to find the replacements,
Right,
so
right,
we won't have the
exactly.
topic until the replacements are ready to review.
You have that friend with mailer I can start sending out.
It's not a bad idea,
Except everybody that we refused, but we
Oh,
could only have so many otherwise.
Oh, no, it's just a donor list. It's not, because you
that's
donate
another
doesn't
thing.
mean you'd have to be recused.
So there you go.
It's absolutely not a bad idea.
Any other comments? Welcome our newest member,
Yes, yeah.
Bridget Rodriguez. You want to introduce yourself? How long you been in town? Where you live?
Sure. So I lived in town previously. I was on the cemetery committee a long time ago, and then I moved, but we moved back during COVID in 2020 to West Concord. So I'm the town clerk over in Bedford. So I missed the last meeting because it was the day after the election, and I was exhausted. I couldn't be here, moving forward. So
Yeah.
Bridget recruited me. She left and
because my
Oh,
yeah.
is that right?
See, there's a
Good job.
tradition here, Jerry and Brian,
Right.
recruiting your replacement. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Any other public comments? Other comments in general? I'd be open to a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn at 4:40 p.m.
I will second.
And vote, Brian?
Aye.
Bridget?
Aye.
Beth? Aye. Priscilla?
Hi.
Gary?
Aye.
That concludes our meeting. Thank you very much.